Jim Montgomery has made some very interesting moves to this lineup that have serious implications on a crucial stretch of games upcoming for the Blues. But not only that, the Blues have officially found their next superstar, as one player in particular is turning heads on the world stage. We're going to break down exactly what all of this means for the Blues in this episode of Blues Digest. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We've noticed that about 67% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your St. Louis Blues, go down below, hit that free subscribe button. And again, you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your St. Louis Blues. But Mark, let's get right into it. A lot to get into today. And there's been some interesting changes to the lineup based on what we've seen the last couple games. We'll get to that later in the episode. But right now we have to talk about a guy that is turning heads. And we've been talking about him a lot at the World Juniors on the world stage. And that is Adam Jiricek, St. Louis Blues prospect, defensive prospect. And yesterday, he really, this is going to be on every highlight reel for years to come. He went between the legs in overtime to win the game. He's a defenseman, by the way, keep that in mind. And he was right in front of the net, went between his legs. It was an unbelievable goal. He's had an unbelievable season in the OHL so far, 29 points in 25 games, at least offensively. I said a couple of videos ago, there was a lot left to be desired in his offensive game at the World Juniors. But he was doing everything defensively. He's blocking shots. His stick is good. He's skating well. He's finally putting it all together at the World Juniors, and he looks unbelievable. And like the Blues have one of the best defensive prospects available right now.
And I think the big thing is, too, we've seen Logan Mailloux join this group, and we wanted him to come in as a power play quarterback. And you now have a failsafe with Adam Jiricek. We're seeing what he's doing in the OHL. We're seeing what he's doing in the World Juniors. He's going to take that next jump very soon. And we've seen his brother play very good for the Minnesota Wild, and maybe we get a better version coming through with Adam Jiricek. But that goal alone, listen, I've been on IR for the last couple of days with the flu, and this is the perfect time to come back and talk about him, because that goal was not only one of the nicest I've seen in quite some time, but it's coming from a defenseman, which is insane to witness. Darius, this is a guy that we're going to hear his name a lot. He's getting a lot of recognition that he does deserve after having a bit of a down year in the OHL from being injured last season. We're seeing that huge bounce back, and I do truly think at some point in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see him join this Blues lineup and become a staple on that blue line, especially with his offensive output.
Definitely. He's going to have that offensive output. We'll see if it translates one for one to the NHL level. A lot of guys, it doesn't, but we've seen it with like a guy like Dvorsky, for example. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch, and he's fun to watch as well. Like, so smooth, so silky. Like, the way he put it between his legs and just finished it was just so smooth. So I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the way in the World Juniors as well. And I thought this was pretty funny from Scott Wheeler as well. Jake O'Brien, some of the best goal scorers sitting at home watching Team Canada as well, because Justin Carbonneau left off the team. Jake O'Brien, who scored 70 goals in the OHL, also left off the team. And obviously Justin Carbonneau being a Blues prospect, and you can see here having an electric season in the Q, 41 points in 29 games. Mark, he has almost as many goals as games played in the Q this year. He's unbelievable. We know that's his game. He doesn't put up that many assists, although he did have quite a few last year. He was quite an even player. 27 goals in 29 games. This guy was left off Team Canada, an absolute snub. But are you not excited to watch this guy play in the next couple of years? Like, yes, everything we're talking about, the Blues should maybe sell off. This season could be lost. They're still in the mix. They can't really be justified to sell off just yet. But with a guy like this coming up through the ranks in a couple of years, I think they're in good hands with some of the guys we're already seeing on the team.
And I think that's the big thing. Listen, you have Adam Jiricek. He's playing great in the World Juniors. We wish we could have seen Justin Carbonneau playing there as well. The Phil Kessel tweet was perfect for that as well. But this is a player that's dominating in the juniors right now. We've seen the goal totals, almost a goal per game. His offensive output has been insane. And you're looking at an already good list of players. I mean, Otto Stenberg is making an impact. And an everyday NHL player at this point, Dvorsky, has looked outstanding in this lineup. And that's just a short list of 4 players within this organization. Hernstam has been good for Sweden between the pipes as well. This is a team that, yes, at the very moment, it's a teeter-totter. They look good some nights. Then they drop 2 games versus Nashville where they allow 12 goals against. But it shows the future of this Blues team. If you can go out and land a top 5 pick, even if you make the playoffs, you still have this good group of prospects that are going to make an immediate impact when they do jump to the NHL.
Yeah, and I think the Blues organization's in good hands in terms of that. But to move on, and let us know in the comments how you feel about some of the prospects, because I think the Blues are in good hands, but it's just a matter of when they finally start handing the keys off to some of these guys. Now, a disappointing result in a game that was winnable against the Sabres team that has been on fire as of late. I mean, They've been incredible, and they're moving up the ranks in the Eastern Conference, could possibly even make the playoffs. But some interesting moves heading into the Blues' next game against the NHL leading and on pace to be the best NHL team of all time, Colorado Avalanche in Colorado. So that's going to be an interesting one right before the new year. But you can see here, Mark Bergen was taken out of, or Bergeron was taken out of the lineup, last game because of his lack of play away from the puck, or, lack of structure, not really knowing the system too well. And the coaching staff wanted to work with him. He's back on the first line now. He was in a game a couple games ago where he was taken off the first line and then he was scratched. He's back on the first line. So what do you make of some of these changes to the lineup? Fabry's staying in. Joseph's now an extra. He's going to be a healthy scratch, it looks like. But some of the lines look a little bit different. Neighbors, Shen, Snuggerud are together now. You got a third line of Stenberg, Dvorsky, Kyrou. So they're trying a bunch of different things. They like to work with certain pairs, but a bunch of things are different. And now Kessel is coming in for Mailloux as well.
And I think the big thing is, listen, what a pickup off waivers right now with that top line. But this is the Blues team that you're going to have to change a bunch. You just flashed it there. The injuries this team has been dealt all season is the same. Pius Suter, of course, the Swiss Army knife, is out of the lineup right now and going through with some struggles. And you see Dylan Holloway, Nick Bukestad, Nathan Walker, the list goes on. I do like that Jim Montgomery is trying everything he can to get the most out of players. I do wish maybe he left some things to the same going in through each game. But I do think at the end of the day, this lineup's going to be fun. You have a lot of youth in each line. Neighbors and Snuggerud, both young players. Stenberg with Dvorsky, once again young. Every line has a young guy that's making an immediate impact, and I think there's going to be some serious problems, and I don't mean in a bad way, but when you're looking at this team and players coming back from injury, how do you even justify taking a lot of these guys out? Of course, you cannot sit Dylan Holloway, Pius Suter, Nick Bukestad, or even Nathan Walker, but how do you look at this team and justify taking out Otto Stenberg at points or Dvorsky at points? There has to be a move at the end of the day, Darius, in my opinion. But with this lineup, I do like the things that are working. I wish Logan Mailloux would finally get maybe the top power play for a couple of games or something like that. But I do like what they're running at this moment.
Definitely. And I think that I like a lot of what's going on here. And you bring up a good point that when a lot of these guys come back from injury, although it looks like, it might not be till after the Olympics for some of them. So they do have time to kill here. They're just trying to see what they have with some of the younger players, like a Stenberg, like a Bergeron, right? To kind of see what's going on with them. And even Mailloux still, right? Like trying to figure out exactly where he fits into this lineup. But I feel like slowly as they come back, we're going to run into a situation where if they're still outside the playoffs looking in, you're going to have to start selling off some guys like Shen. You're going to have to start selling off guys like maybe even Kyrou. We've heard so many rumors about that. Guys like Falk, for example. So I think that's where that's headed, to give the younger guys a chance and then go into next season. But they're just, on an audition right now to see what's going on. And I think that's pretty good as well. But yeah, a lot of injuries that they're dealing with right now. In terms of the scoring, it's been weird. Justin Falk has had a fantastic season. You can't tell me you wouldn't fetch something amazing in a trade as well. And last thing I wanted to bring up, you can see that Binnington is poised to start tomorrow. Hofer has gone the last two games. And I want to bring this up from Jim Montgomery. He said, not to read into it too much because it's a long season, but he thinks for parts of last season, Hofer was playing better than Binnington. And if it was the playoffs, it would probably be Binnington. But Hofer's been really good. It's way too early to make judgment calls like this. There's a lot of big games ahead, and he's just going to depend on where they are and what they're trying to build there. And he also said that he's just going to try and ride the hot hand. So I kind of agree with that. I've been saying Hofer has been better, but obviously Binnington gets his shot now after the loss to the Buffalo Sabres. But we want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And speaking of comments, we will go to comment of the day, which McKenna still sounds good next season as a Blue. I'm liking the way Mailloux is starting to play also. And I will say, Pye, do you have any thoughts on this? Because I think Mailloux should be given probably a bigger opportunity, and he might be if Falk is traded at the deadline.
And I think that's the big thing. Listen, if you're trying to make the playoffs, maybe giving the keys to success right now to a young guy coming into the NHL is hard to do. But if this is a team that sells at deadline, if you're looking at a youth movement, he's going to jump up. And like you said, if Falk's out, he's going to jump up on that second pairing. Maybe we see him on a power play unit. But I do think at the end of the day, you kind of ride how things are right now. And if Falk is moved, you're going to see a huge boost out of him.
Absolutely. But we want to hear what you have to say in the comments about everything we covered today. Adam Jiricek, some of the changes to the lineup should be a big game against the NHL leading Colorado Avalanche by a lot. They're firing on all cylinders. That's going to be an interesting one. We'll see what some of the young guys do in that game, and maybe that's why some of the lines look the way that they do. And big game for Binnington as well. Big game. We'll see what happens in that one. But let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything going on with the St. Louis Blues.